Hi, my name's Sean Bell, and this is, who are you?
Peter Barker.
Peter Barker.
I don't really want to give my second name out, though.
Why? Do you think people might stalk you?
With this face, and
then you'll probably be okay.
This stuff, finds out.
So this is a video about video games. Okay. Specifically, it's about one video game. Called... What?
Carry on. I was going to say you wouldn't have known that by me talking about myself.
There's a video game called Dragon's Dogma, and we really fucking like it, and apparently some of you don't, and that makes me sad.
Want to fight about it?
Yeah. I'm going to talk to you and each other, because that's unavoidable.
Let's try not to have eye contact, though, because you look weird up close.
So do you. We're going to talk about Dragon's Dogma and why it's good, and why you should like it.
Yes. Please buy it, because we need people to talk to about it.
Yeah, we need people to both buy it and play it for more than 10 hours.
Because you're not going to do anything. I know that's a stupid thing to say about computer games. Invest 10 hours and then you'll enjoy it.
Because I hate it when people say that. Because I finished Braid in under 10 hours and that's one of the best games I ever played. I finished Journey in under 2 hours and that's also one of the best games I've ever played.
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck.
So, yeah, to say, oh, you should play this game in 10 hours before it gets good.
It's almost not worth plugging in my PlayStation 3 to play Journey if it's 2 hours long. Even though you're saying it's good.
Anyway, so Dragon's Dogma is really good.
Yes.
We're going to just list things we like about it. Not we're going to explain each thing. We're not just going, the fighting's good, the enemies are good, and the graphics. Was that offensive what I just did? I wasn't actually doing someone who's like mentally deficient.
No,
I was just doing it.
You were just insinuating that people that think like that are mentally deficient.
No, I wasn't. I was making fun of just like idiot mouth breathing. Just like normally stupid people.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So mainly the people that are going to be watching this.
The combat is good in Dragon's Dogma because even though it is an RPG, it is also an entirely competent action game.
Yeah.
Like
the weight of strikes actually feel like they make contact with something rather than just slashing through something and it saying, "Oh, number 78."
There's an impact.
Do you want me to say visceral?
Don't say visceral. Don't say it's visceral. Please don't say it's visceral.
You can't say it's visceral.
If you play as a Strider, which is the most actiony of all the classes,
nimble,
I would say. Where's my phone?
Not professional.
So if you play as a Strider, which is the most actiony of all the classes, you get a move called Reset, which allows you to cancel out of any of your moves. And anyone who plays actual fighting games or like Bayonetta or something like that will understand how cool that is.
I don't, but I can still realise how cool it is. That's why I'm good.
Yeah. So if you're doing moves, like, you know, because it's a constant thing in action games, if you press like your attack button one too many times, your character's there going like slash, slash, slash into thin air because you've accidentally hit the button too many times and it's like he's in his like attack loop and it's annoying and shit and you can't just stop. You can. Dragon's Dogma. Isn't that nice? Just do that.
Thanks for telling me about that. If I ever play it again, I might find myself learning that skill and reassessing its value to my character.
There we go, that's why we're here. What else? The boss fights in it
Massive!
are all really fun. And they're interesting enough that every time you face one of the bosses, it could go like totally differently. Like when you go to fight a Chimera, it's made of 3 bits. It's got a line in the front and then a goat and then a snake tail on the back. And like, so you can stand back and you can do ranged attacks, or you can throw magic at it, or you can fucking sprint in and jump up and grab the snake and slash it till it dies, and it like dies in separate bits, and the order in which the bits of it die affect like what abilities it has and how it acts.
I fought about 40 of these throughout my entire gaming on that game, and I was still surprised by the outcomes. The other day, the lion's head got killed first, and it just meant that the whole Chimera stood there just essentially brain dead while I killed the other 2 heads that were waiting to die, basically.
That's pretty horrible.
Asking for mercy and mercy killing.
Pretty grim. Yeah, and like I'm going to compare it to Skyrim a lot because everyone likes Skyrim, but I found that Skyrim got a little bit fucking boring. And they're similar kinds of games anyway, so it pretty much worked. After a while, whenever I saw a dragon in Skyrim, it was like, oh, for fuck's sake. Again.
Skyrim, the combat never changed from like stage 1, really, did it? Like,
not really.
Once you get a spell, it's like you know what's going to be doing there. You're just going to be managing your mana bar and going.
then whenever your mana or health runs out, you go through the fucking menus to get your health potions out.
Click.
And it totally breaks the flow of everything.
Click.
Click, 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 click. And it's boring and it's poo after a bit. But with Dragon's Dogma, every boss fight's like exciting because you want to get involved, because you want to do the fight and you want to see what happens and you want to like almost die, but then bring it back because you're good at the game, not because you had a massive stockpile of items. You can stockpile items if you're into that sort of thing.
But it weighs you down.
But it weighs you down. And if you're just good enough to not need them, then that's fine.
Not like in Skyrim where you just hit a magic number and your character goes, nope, can't move. It actually has an effect. Like having 2 weapons on your character, if you're only using one, you actually sort of think, well, this weighs a lot. I might get rid of it because or pass it to a pawn for them to carry.
Yeah, we'll talk about the pawns in a bit. Like the more you're carrying, the more like the slower your character moves and the slower your stamina regenerates. So if you're like playing a nimble character, you sort of keep yourself light at all times and you can run around everywhere and not use so much stamina. It's great. So yeah, the fighting's fun. Like it's one of those games that's robust enough and intricate enough that you can just go, look, here's here's like some enemies, and here's an area that's this shape, and you just fucking go for it. And the interactions between all of you are fun and interesting, like an infinite number of times.
Also, I don't know about you, but I found because the levels they're sort of route based, aren't they? Like, you know when you come to an area, rather than like in Skyrim where sometimes you just go to an area and it'd be, this is going to have nothing in it because it's just a landmass. In that, you're coming across certain areas and going, oh, well, there's bound to be something here. You'd specifically explore and find positions and
Ignore me.
and find little items, and then once again you pass that knowledge onto your pawns, which maybe we should talk about pawns now.
We're going to talk about the pawn. So when the game was first... Well, when it was first announced, we all thought it had co-op in it. We assumed it did because we saw the player character running around with little lackeys and we thought, it must be other players.
Perfect excuse for a co-op.
Amazing co-op game. That'll be amazing when it comes out and it's co-op and we all play it together. I'm going to burp.
Take it in the hand and give it to them as a gift.
And then it turned out it doesn't have that at all, and it instead has this pawn system where you have your main pawn, P-A-W-N, which accompanies you throughout the entire game, and it's your constant companion. You can also have 2 other pawns. What they are, they're other people's, like your friends or whoever, they're their main pawns that you hire, and then they join your party, and then you can sort of take them or leave them. And what's interesting is, like, your main pawn get like levels up with you, right? And I guess experience points. But when you hire other people's pawns, or when other people hire your pawn, the pawn doesn't gain any experience, but it does learn things about how to fight certain enemies or do certain quests. So little things like learning an enemy's like elemental weaknesses, like a mage who knows that wolves are weak to fire will know that, and they're like, hey, fire spells, or enchant people's weapons with fire, or whatever, because they know that that's what works. As a mage who doesn't know that, will just be like, and use the wrong spells, and they'll get it eventually. Also, the quest knowledge improves. So, if you're doing a quest, like you can look at a pawn's stats, right? And when you're about to do a quest, you think it might be quite hard. You can look for other pawns who've done that quest before, and they know how the quest works. And then what happens is you do that, and then the pawn will know where things are in the quest because he's already done it. So you'll get to a fork in the road and be like, oh, it's this way, master, and then you'll fucking sprint off. Or if you're in a dungeon and there's a sealed door, it'll be like, oh yeah, there's a switch over this way, and we need to go and do that, and it'll like be marked on your map, and it'll just fucking run off and help you do it. And it's really, really clever.
Should be said as well that the skills that you sort of give your pawn make them a valuable asset in the sense that...
Asset.
Asset?
Asset.
I said asset, didn't I?
It says like S. The thing that's cool about the pawns is they're so tightly woven into the world and the story as well. They're actually an integral part of the way everything works. They're not just like people that you've hired, they're actually this other race that come from like this other dimension, and they've got no will of their own, they just like get told to do shit, which is kind of creepy. Right,
I do find that pawns add another level to combat, and I know that's obvious, but I feel like when I come into an encounter, say I've done an encounter 100 times before, it's fun to see how the AI of your pawns addresses the matter, and obviously they learn certain techniques to fight them, but they can play out in unique ways that you didn't expect. Like, I had a situation where someone meteored an ogre in the face, and it pretty much killed it outright. And I was just hanging on it as it just fell over, and I felt like totally emasculated because I was about to do something badass, and it just falls over dead.
Ruined.
Yeah. You know, it adds another flavour to combat.
Yeah. And because you can have, like, obviously, the temptation is to have a party that's really well rounded. So you've got like different classes covering different sort of combat roles. What is also funny is to have like 2 or 3 sorcerers. Just when they cast the same spells at the same time, it both quickens the time it takes to cast a spell and also does a more powerful version of it. So if you've got 3 mages all going fucking meteor shower, it's absolutely insane and hilarious. The downside is you'll have no healer or no one to like soak up damage for you. Yeah. Well, there you go. Hidden Depths.
Hidden.
Over 60 hours he spent on it.
Yeah.
No idea.
Second playthrough as well.
Fucking idiot. The classes are amazing. So much fun. I found playing as a mage a little bit dull, but so I always assign that. I always get pawns in to do magic.
I think as long as you address a mage as sort of you're going to be stood back, addressing the strategic qualities of the combat, like this guy needs to die this way, this guy needs to die quickly. But in an action
making sure
game,
you like. Yeah, so I think it just depends how you want to play the game. If you want a more traditional RPG, then maybe the mage is the way to go. I don't, because I like hitting things.
Yes. And climbing on things.
And
hitting them.
Stabbing them. So I played most of the game as a magic archer, which like I started out as a strider, which is like your normal like sort of bow and arrow daggers class. So when I moved to the magic archer, I thought it would be like pretty much the same as using a normal bow and arrow, which is just usual like sort of third person shooter controls really. You hold one bumper to like bring your bow out and then you aim it and shoot it. Playing as magic archer, I thought it was going to be like, oh, it's basically the same, but you can like, you know, make yourself have fire arrows or ice arrows or whatever without the need for another mage to intervene and enchant your weapon. What I actually found was that it basically turns it into Res the Fantasy RPG, where you can like lock on to about 16 targets and then go boom, and it sort of and destroys the lot of them.
Did you find yourself making Res sound effects while you did it?
Yes. Playing like techno music in the background. And it's fun. It's fun as anything. And Pete, you were playing as the wizard soldier guy.
Oh, the Mystic Knight, yeah.
Mystic Knight.
I went into it just assuming that it was going to be a defender shield guy, but the uniqueness of it is pretty astounding. It's sort of a mixture between a mage and a knight. You have bizarre skills where it's all about countering. You enchant your shield with certain abilities, and it's based on the enemy hitting you and you activating what is called a perfect counter or a perfect block. And then it amplifies the effect of, say, you can enchant it with dark energy and then shoots a dark energy bolt. I've currently got a thing on my guy where it heals me every time I'm hit, so you can actually get struck by a giant ogre and it hits you for a large sum of the damage that you would have taken. So when you do a perfect block on that, this giant thing that should be hitting you back into the side of a cliff or off a mountain, you just go ping and then your health regenerates, and it totally feels, once again, you're totally emasculating this amazing beast. It's also got another skill where you summon a ball of energy and then you hit it and it shoots out bolts of spells, but it slaughters everything, and I can't see, because you know how you were saying the mage, you have to charge and you have to stand there and then here it comes. It takes like 2 seconds to charge and then it's almost instantaneous. You just like anything in any direction, you just run around the other side of your ball, beat the crap out of it, it homes in on them, and depending how quickly you strike depends on how much damage you do. It's amazing.
Does sound pretty good.
And yeah, you can enchant your weapons and the entire party's weapons in just one spell. It's pretty amazing.
The story, I started playing the game and wasn't really interested in the story. Well, there isn't much of one to begin with, is there? You get attacked by a dragon. There's a big dragon and it's going to destroy everything. And it turns out you're the Arisen, which means you're the one who's got to kill the dragon. But at no point does it explain why that makes you any better than anyone else.
In fact, how are you even moving without a heart?
Oh yeah, you don't have a heart. The
what's
dragon
in there?
Takes your heart. I don't know. I don't know what's about.
Sand? Well, you do
yeah.
bleed when you jump off cliffs and do that splat.
Oh, yeah, I don't
So
know.
what's... You just...
Still blood idiots should not be pumped anyway.
It's just stagnating.
Yeah, it's just scabbing
You're just
up.
a big scab walking around, basically.
I mean, that's the Risen superpower is just solid.
Scab.
But yeah, and then like halfway through, there's a side quest, and then a dude tries to strangle his wife in front of you, and it all gets a bit mental and brilliant. And like the ending, which I won't spoil, is absolutely brilliant. Like,
Do you mean of the game or of the guy strangling his wife? Both.
I
haven't seen the strangling wife bit. So
he hasn't done that side quest because he's a dick.
I just liked exploring, man. Give me a break.
Right.
Give me a fucking break. lad.
I'm just saying that woman definitely got strangled in yours because you didn't prevent it.
Oh shit. Now that makes me feel bad. I was assuming that because I didn't witness it, it didn't happen.
No, it still happened, probably.
Fuck.
Pretty bad, eh? So, the ending, again, which I won't ruin, it's just unbelievably clever and, like, shows that developers had a bit of faith in the player, because there's, like, a final bit. You think you finish the game, but then, yeah, you figure out something else, and then...
Capcom tend to
brilliant.
leave like little details for you to discover, don't they?
Yeah, they did this a lot in Lost Planet 2, which we really like, and you probably don't, and that's another reason that we're cool and you're not.
Can I just sigh at you, please?
Don't sigh at me.
It's a bit of a condescending thing to do, isn't it?
It's anything to do.
For shame. That's all I'm going to say. It's amazing. It's full of little tricks and things that the game doesn't go out of its way to explain to you. You just have to figure out. And Dragon's Dogma is similar in a lot of ways. There are loads of the skills that you take into combat vastly change the way that your character plays. You could be an entire melee heavy guy. I equipped my ranger to be shooting things from miles away, so although I had loads of melee based skills, it became redundant, and then I started shifting my playstyle so I was nowhere near combat, and totally changes the way you play.
Changed your life.
Changed my life for the better.
It did.
And then I played as an assassin, and I had a skill called Gouge, and then I just spent my entire game just jumping on big things, just gouging them in the eye like that. He just wiggles his sword backwards and forth in the vulnerable area of a giant beast. It's pretty hilarious.
Sounds pretty gross. What else is good about Dragon's Dogma? Is that everything?
It's a story.
We talked about the story.
Yeah.
We talked about the pawns. We talked about the bosses, the combat, and yeah, that's everything, pretty much.
And you should buy it. I give it 5 Skyrims out of 10.
Wait, what? So it's only half as good as a... Wait, does that mean it's as good as 5 Skyrims,
Yeah.
or half as good as Skyrim?
So 10 would be as good as 10 Skyrims.
Right.
1 Skyrim is as good as 1 Skyrims. It's better than
It's 5 times
5
as good as Skyrim.
Yeah.